a special edition of our First NBC Bank video update as we look ahead to Thanksgiving weekend in the high school football playoffs. Lenny Vangilder, Ken Trahan with you. We are down to 56 teams, 28 games this Friday night. One part of the bracket, or one division, if you will, the select side of things, one game away from going to the Dome. The non-select side, we're in the quarterfinal round. They're still 2 wins away from going to the Dome. And let's start there on the non-select side. In Class 5A, which has basically become the Southeast Louisiana Invitational at this point, 6 of the 8 teams remaining from the greater New Orleans area. You throw Zachary in the mix. They're still from Southeast Louisiana. That's 7 of your 8. Parkway is the outlier there, headed to Trahan. But, you know, the one side of the bracket has completely blown up in terms of the seeds. The highest seed remaining on the left side of the bracket is the 9 seed, John Ehret, who will be at home to Ponchatoula this weekend. By the way, we will have that game for you live right here at SportsNOLA.com.
Yes, and that's a really fun game to watch. Read my story at SportsNOLA.com about the game. Hank Tierney returning to his former stomping grounds at Hoss-Memphis Stadium, where he was a tremendous head coach at Shaw and then at West Jefferson before departing in 2008. So first time he's back. Ponchatoula, by all recollection, has never been beyond this point of the playoffs other than in 1940 when they won a Class B state championship. And John Ehret hasn't been here since 2007. So it's a great matchup. Corey Lambert played for Ehret when Hank Tierney coached against him for Shaw. All kinds of delicious ties here, and this is going to be a great game. Of course, Mandeville, Landry Walker. This is 2 local teams. Landry Walker went on the road and won at Shreveport against Bury, which is incredibly significant. But Mandeville went to Scotlandville and beat a really good football team as well. This is another toss-up type of game. Landry Walker's great quarterback, Katan Thompson, and, of course, the great quarterback from Mandeville as well, and Orgeron, who's played extremely well. And, of course, Hahnville and Zachary. Hey, you know, Zachary can really score, but Hahnville is scoring oodles as well. This looks like a shootout, and so does Destrehan Parkway. Between those 2 games, I wouldn't be surprised if you have 90 to 100 points combined scored in each game.
And Mandeville, Landry Walker, for that matter, both of those second-round games were 40-plus point games on both sides of the scoreboard. Maybe the only one that's going to be a normal score, if you will, might be that Ponchatoula John Ehret game, but who knows? We won't even mention a possibility about a Hahnville-Destrehan semifinal if it comes to that. That could shut down St. Charles Parish if that indeed happened. You look at 4A, the immediate place you go in the New Orleans area, district rivals Easton McDonough 35 facing off at Tad Gormley Stadium in the quarters.
Yeah, 31-7, prohibitive win for Warren Easton the first time around. I suspect this is going to be much closer. 35 has found itself. Huge road win. They crushed Benton, the 4th seed, on the road last week. But Easton has played consistently well. So I'd give them a slight edge, but in a rematch game, it could go either way. Neville North DeSoto. Neville's a defending champion. Enough said, they're the team to beat. Edna Carr, great win at Cecilia last week, and now they get Bastrop, and Bastrop can really score, have to travel a long way. I still like Edna Carr's chances in this game. And then Franklinton and Crowley. Crowley has been great all year long, but have they really been tested? And Franklinton has been tested.
No doubt about it. The Carr team, that's one team, and we've talked about this, that I don't think you want to see right now the way they're playing. You throw their record out because they are really playing well. Speaking of teams really playing well, that's St. James in the 3A bracket. They have to face Northwest. You also have a Bogalusa Amy game, Lutcher against Kaplan. You've got some local interest here as well.
Yeah, Kaplan's a good football team, but Lutcher is an outstanding football team. I like the Bulldogs. Iowa, West Feliciana. I picked West Feliciana in my upset special last week to beat Patterson. They did, and here they are. And I like them again in this game. Bogalusa A-Meat. Hard to go against A-Meat, but you got to admire Craig Jones and the Lumberjacks and what they've been able to do. Look, they went on the road and beat undefeated Gina. They toppled the Giants last week. And then, of course, St. James, as you mentioned, when we saw them against De La Salle, we left them for dead. We thought they're not going anywhere. Then Laurel Narcisse came back. Dwayne Jenkins has done a great job. They get Northwest. It's a great opportunity here for the Wildcats.
Well, they were a 15 seed. If Narcisse had been healthy, this would obviously be much better than a 15 seed, and now they've got him back. You look at the 2A bracket, and you take a West St. John team that is under 500 that pulled a huge upset at home over the 1 seed Manny to get to the quarterfinals where they will face Mangum.
Yeah, and Mangum's a state championship tested team, but so is Manny. And West St. John's at home. I think it just speaks volumes about that incredible 2A district that West St. John plays in. There is no better district in the state. I'm not sure it's not the best district in any class in the state. When you talk about those teams with Riverside and St. Charles Catholic and Newman, of course, to go along with the other two powerhouse teams that we've talked about, and West St. John is part of that. So as a result, what a great league, and I think that's why the Rams are where they are. Mangum, as I mentioned, is a state championship-proven product. That'll be a tough one for the Rams. Pickering and Rayville. Pickering, the record is there, but Rayville, they've got the athletes, and I really like Rayville in this football game. Welsh and Sterlington. Welsh has got the record and the seed. Sterlington has the pedigree, and they're battle-tested, and I like them here as the lower seed. In East Feliciana and Kinder, you're talking about a Kinder team that's a 2 seed, and they have been absolutely dominant so far. I like them to win.
Perhaps looking at a Kinder Welsh semifinal there. Interesting. West St. John is the only seed that is kind of broken ranks, so to speak. Everything else has been chalk in that bracket. Finally, Class 1A, the last of the quarterfinals. Of course, you got Kentwood up under the tank as the number 1 seed. They will take on Logansport this week.
Yeah, I like Kentwood. Let's move on. Absolutely. Kangaroos. They were my pick to win it.
Anything else? Any other thoughts in 1A?
Oh, yeah, no, I was just talking about that game. Oak Grove and East Beauregard. Listen, East Beauregard's played well so far, but I like Oak Grove, another proven power in the playoffs. Haynesville, White Castle, Haynesville, enough said. And then Arcadia, Basile. I told you Arcadia was my dark horse team entering the playoffs in 1A, and they've upheld that pretty well. Solid win over Delhi last week, so I like Arcadia in this one.
Okay, let's move on to the good stuff, if you will. Semifinal round. You're 1 game away from getting to the Dome. Let's start right in Division I. Arguably the game of the weekend. Jefferson Parish bragging rights with the chance to move on to the Dome. Rummel the 1 seed, John Curtis the 5 seed. Your thoughts there?
Yeah, garbage system. It produces this again, and it's really unfortunate. It shouldn't happen, but it does. So they have to play the game. And who beats Curtis twice in a season? Nobody. But I think Rummel will. I think Rummel is the best team in the class. If they play to their ability, I think they win. The one area that Curtis can win in is the kicking game. Keep an eye on that. Either way, it's a competitive game. And, of course, we'll have that one on WGSO 990 AM. It's part of the original Friday night where you'll get all the scores from SportsNOLA.com as well. So you get everything on Friday night through the original and SportsNOLA.com. And then, of course, Catholic High and Evangel. Unbelievable sellout win for Catholic over Brother Martin last week. You wonder if they have anything left. And they got to make a long trip. And Hilaire did not play in the second half, their star running back. And Evangel's really good on defense. And they're good on offense. They're running the ball. So tough one for Catholic here. I have to like Evangel.
The only 2 teams in this division from outside of the New Orleans area meeting in the semifinal to end up for the chance to play in the Dome. We know it'll be 1 team from the New Orleans area, 1 team from outside the area. We move on to Division II. These have now turned out to be teams from all outside the area and a couple of city matchups, if you will. U-High, Parkview Baptist, Turlings against St. Thomas More, huge rivalries in Baton Rouge and Lafayette.
And again, the garbage system produces rematch games prior to the Dome. And not 1 but 2, and that's really unfortunate. This system has to go. What else do you want me to say? It stinks. U-High and Parkview, again, a second time around. Parkview's played a very tough schedule. They're capable, but I can't pick against the Cubs. And then, of course, Turlings Catholic and St. Thomas More flip a coin. I mean, look, who knows what happens this time? I picked Turlings the first time. STM wins. Maybe I pick STM. Turlings wins. I don't know. I mean, it goes back and forth in this one. Quarterbacks are closest to friends. Who knows? I mean, they're evenly matched. This is a really good matchup.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. We know it will be Baton Rouge against Lafayette in the Division II final. Did I say something about rematches, by the way?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, okay.
Turlings won the first match.
Right, and because we're talking about another one here in Division III, and that's Riverside and St. Charles Catholic. We had the first one on SportsNOLA and WHNO. Riverside dominated the game 35-3. Something tells me it's going to be closer this time around.
Yeah, because Frank Monica's a great coach. And to go on the road and beat Madison Prep, who's got elite athletes and was undefeated, was a tremendous win. As good a win as anybody had last weekend in the state for St. Charles Catholic. But to have to beat Riverside, who has superior size, superior speed, they're going to need turnovers to have a chance to win this game. It's hard to pick against Riverside in this situation.
Riverside's got 5A talent. There's no question about that. The other game in the bracket, Notre Dame against St. Thomas Aquinas at Strawberry Stadium. You got a chance to see St. Thomas Aquinas in as good a game as we've seen on the high school level this year, winning in double overtime over Country Day.
Well, these are 2 undefeated teams, and they're not meeting in the Dome, and that's, again, unfortunate. I mean, listen, what an unbelievable class this is. We talked about it prior to the playoffs, and it certainly has panned out that way. Notre Dame and Louis Cook, what a win. They not only beat the two-time defending champion Calvary Baptist, they held them to 7 points last week and whipped them. And then St. Thomas Aquinas on a good field. That's why they're going to Strawberry Stadium, to make sure Cameron Dantzler has a good field to run on, because he's special, and he'll give them a chance. But I've kind of like Notre Dame and Louis Cook, a Hall of Fame coach here.
We'll see how that all plays out. And lastly, Division 4, you got Ascension Episcopal, the 1 seed, taking on St. Mary of Natchitoches. Southern Lab, you said that would happen, the 6 beating the 3. They got through over Central Catholic. Now they've got to face Vermilion Catholic.
Ascension Episcopal, the number 1 seed, but St. Mary is undefeated. And for Alex Michaels' departure, I got to pick St. Mary in this game. So there you go. Southern Lab, Vermilion Catholic. I'll just keep on saying it. Vermilion Catholic can score with anybody. They have a great offense. They might be the second best team in the class, but I think Southern Lab's the best team in the class. Even as the 6th seed, I said that before it started. I'm sticking with it. I'm not changing. I'm consistent. I'm going with the Kittens.
The Kittens. 28 games. You got them all right there. No other place to follow them than right here at SportsNOLA.com. Again, we will have live coverage. Ponchatoula, John Ehret, right here on the site. Live video. Ken Berthelot, Wade Kaiser on the call. Ken will be at Joe Yenny with Rick Gailey and Easton Roth. He'll have coverage of that classic Division I semifinal between Archbishop Rummel and John Curtis as part of the original. You can also follow that at SportsNOLA.com. And don't forget about the best scoreboard in the state. No other place to get it than our Prep Football Scoreboard presented by the All-State Sugar Bowl. Stay with us here at SportsNOLA.com. Have a great Thanksgiving. We will have all your coverage leading up to a great Friday night of high school playoff football.